Off the coast of Venice, Italy, lay a small, unassuming island. Shrouded in mist and mystery, its true nature was hidden from the casual observer. This was Poveglia Island, a place where beauty and serenity masked a dark and sinister history, a history that had left an indelible mark on its very soil. For centuries, this island had been a place of exile, suffering, and death. It served as a quarantine station during the plague, where countless souls met their end. The air itself seemed heavy with the weight of countless lost souls, their anguish echoing through the crumbling structures that remained. The walls whispered tales of despair and torment. Poveglia had become a magnet for paranormal investigators, drawn to its dark energy and the stories that lingered in the shadows. They were drawn to its dark energy, seeking to uncover the truth behind the legends. Each visit revealed more about the island's haunted past. Many had spent years investigating the paranormal, and few places they encountered possessed such palpable terror as Poveglia. The fear there was almost tangible, seeping into their very bones. What had happened on this island to create such a terrifying atmosphere? The answer lay in its tragic history, a history that continued to haunt it to this day. To understand, one must journey back in time, peeling back the layers of history to reveal the horrors that unfolded on these shores. The plague, the suffering, the isolation all left their mark. Come along, if you dare, as the depths of Poveglia's unsettling past are explored. Each step taken brings one closer to the truth. Prepare yourself, for the truth is far more frightening than any legend. The reality of Poveglia's past is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can reside in the most beautiful places. Our journey into Poveglia's dark heart begins in the time of the Roman Empire, a period marked by both grandeur and suffering. Even then, this island served as a quarantine zone, a last resort for those afflicted with the devastating plague, a place where the sick were sent to contain the spread of the disease. Imagine the terror of those poor souls ripped from their homes and families, cast out to die alone on this isolated island. Their cries of anguish and despair echoed through the misty air, a haunting reminder of their fate. Ships arrived laden with the sick and dying, their cries echoing across the water. The sight of these vessels brought dread to those on the island, knowing more suffering was on its way. The lucky ones succumbed quickly, their suffering short-lived. For them, death was a merciful release from the agony of the plague. Others lingered, their bodies ravaged by the disease as they clung desperately to life. Each day was a battle against the inevitable, a struggle to survive in a place devoid of hope. The island became a dumping ground for the dead, a grim testament to the scale of the tragedy that unfolded here. Bodies were burned in massive pyres, the stench of death hanging heavy in the air. The smoke rose like a dark cloud, a constant reminder of the lives lost to the plague. The living were left to tend to the dying, knowing their own fate was sealed. They cared for the afflicted with a sense of grim duty, aware that they too would soon join the ranks of the dead. The Romans' use of Poveglia as a quarantine zone marked the beginning of the island's sinister reputation. It became a place synonymous with death and despair, a dark chapter in the history of the Roman Empire. It was a place where hope went to die, swallowed by the relentless grip of disease and despair. The island's eerie silence was a stark contrast to the suffering that once filled its shores. Centuries passed, but Poveglia's grim fate remained intertwined with pestilence, a haunting reminder of its dark history. When the Black Death swept across Europe in the 14th century, it became a living nightmare, an unstoppable force of nature that left no corner of the continent untouched. The plague, a relentless predator, claimed millions of lives, and Poveglia once again transformed into a nightmarish quarantine zone, a place of unimaginable suffering and despair. Ships, laden with the dead and dying, arrived day and night, their holds overflowing with the victims of the relentless plague, bringing with them the stench of death and decay. The island's shores became a gruesome tableau of death, littered with corpses too numerous to bury, a macabre scene that defied comprehension. Mass graves, hastily dug to accommodate the sheer number of dead, scarred the island's landscape, turning it into a vast open-air cemetery. The soil itself became saturated with the ashes of burned bodies, a grim testament to the plague's devastating toll, a silent witness to the horrors that unfolded. Historians estimate that over 160,000 souls perished on Poveglia during the Black Death. A staggering number that speaks to the scale of the tragedy. Can you imagine the suffering, the despair, the sheer terror that gripped this island? The cries of the dying, the hopelessness in their eyes? The horrors etched into Poveglia's very soil continue to haunt its present, a chilling reminder of the island's cursed past, a place where the echoes of the dead still linger. As centuries passed, Poveglia's sinister reputation only intensified. In 1922, a mental hospital opened its doors on the island, forever changing its destiny. This was no ordinary institution of healing. It quickly became a place of unspeakable horror, where the cries of the tormented echoed through the hallways. The hospital's patients, many suffering from severe mental illness, were subjected to unimaginable cruelty. Doctors, driven mad by their own twisted ambitions, performed gruesome experiments on their helpless victims. The most disturbing reports whisper of lobotomies performed without anesthesia, the screams of the patients swallowed by the island's isolation. As the asylum's doors finally closed in 1968, Poveglia Island was left to the elements and the ghosts of its past. The crumbling buildings now stand as silent witnesses to the horrors that once unfolded within their walls. But the island's story doesn't end there. In recent years, paranormal investigators and curious explorers have ventured to Poveglia, armed with cameras and recording equipment. They report chilling encounters, disembodied voices, shadowy figures, and sudden drops in temperature. Some claim to hear the faint whispers of those who suffered, their stories etched into the very fabric of the island. Yet, amidst the terror, there are moments of poignant silence, as if the island itself is mourning its tragic past. The tangled vines and overgrown foliage now reclaiming the buildings seem to be nature's way of offering a shroud for the forgotten souls. Poveglia remains a place where history and horror intertwine, a testament to human suffering and resilience. Its legacy is a haunting reminder of the darkness that can reside within us all. Conclusion: Poveglia Island remains one of the most haunted places in the world. Its dark history of plague, quarantine, and asylum screams continues to intrigue and terrify those who dare to explore its shores. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the eerie atmosphere of Poveglia Island is undeniable. Thank you for watching, and remember to like, share, and subscribe for more haunting tales.